All right. We're all set up. We are live. Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Sorry for the delayed opening. I was just getting all my little windows ready because I'm watching my live feed. I'm watching my own video. I got a little window of the results from the House of Hardcore that I was at just to make sure I don't forget anything. Because we're gonna talk about House of Hardcore. We're gonna talk about the results, but I'm gonna get a little real. It's not a rant. It's not a, oh man, I didn't have fun at this event because this happened to me. No, it's not that. The event was fine. The event was great. Okay? Whatever else I talk about besides the results of this, what happened to me personally that night, I don't want you to take it away that you shouldn't go to a Blizzard Brawl because of what happened to me. No, what happened to me is because of something from my past because I ran into someone that I was friends with a long time ago. And I ran into him that night. And it just kind of, it is as good as it was to sit with him and enjoy this, it took the wind out of the evening. It didn't completely sour the event. It was a mental distraction. Okay? And for that reason, it messed with my head. And it's probably painfully obvious. It's still messing with my head to the point that I wasn't even going to come on here and even talk about the event. But I'm like, no, when I'm on here, I try to be as real as possible. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this while talking about the event, because I want to talk about how fun the event was, the results of the event, who I met that evening in a positive sense that helped kind of level out the evening, because it wasn't all just one big thing that screwed with my head the entire evening. My wife was there, which was awesome. She told me that kind of splurging on this evening and doing what I was not planning to do was kind of a Christmas present for me. So I was very thankful for that. This literally was a last minute decision to go. I was trying to win tickets. David. David is the gentleman who used to run. He still runs smaller local events. Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. If you're a fan of wrestling in the Midwest, you probably have heard of him, or even further around the country. Because he's helped promote stuff out of Wisconsin as well, just not as much anymore. Right now, I think he's more focused on his own health, and I think he's focused on his son's training to become a professional wrestler. That's also something I want to talk about tonight. That was pretty much the highlight of the evening. as far as it wasn't the main event, but emotionally it was the high of the evening. Okay. Um, so you know what? Let's just talk about that first, and then I'll get into some other stuff. Um, well, first of all, before I get into that, I just want to quick show what I got as far as me personally from the evening. I got a picture with Willie Mack. I shared these pictures on my Twitter, so you can go to the links in the description, my social media. I shared them on there, my personal pictures. But as far as autographs, I got an X-Pac autograph, which I love how everyone who writes out J-Bone, everyone writes it a little bit different. X-Pac was so nice. I mean, and my wife was just kind of in the background with my camera, ready to take the picture. So I'm like giving the money to the handler, who is also, I guess, kind of like security. But I'm talking to X-Pac, and he just, I mean, he really paid attention to you. I was just floored how personal he was with the people. I mean, he made everyone feel special. It wasn't just, hey, what's up? Give me your money. Click next. You know, and I've seen some people do that before. And it's like, damn, you know, it takes the wind out of the situation. But X-Pac made me feel like I was a special individual. I told him about my podcast. I told him he was an inspiration because of what he's done in the ring, how he's you know, made his life better in general, you know, which is inspiring, and what he's done for his pet, just everything that he, you know, is a very positive influence, you know. So I let him know that. And he was so cool, took a couple pictures. Like I said, they're in my social media. I'm not going to share them like in the video here, but got the autograph. That's going to go up. I don't know where. Somewhere. I want to like redo all this. I think 2019, we're going to like change this completely, because I like having all the stuff in the background, but I don't know. It's like my wife's OCD is rubbing off on me. So beating X-Pac, like the one wall was like all the like legends, like Al Snow was there. I wanted to beat everyone, but I didn't have money for all this. So like next time there's like a big event and they get a couple guys come to town, I'll save up and I'll get some pictures with some other guys. But Al Snow was taking pics. Animal Road Warrior was, but his was like the most expensive. I met Greg the Hammer Valentine, so I didn't want to go over there, but he was there too. Who else was there? Duke the Drozer, or Duke the Dumpster Drozy, I think his name was. Some guy from the 90s, the WWF. I recognized him, but I didn't know who he was, so I didn't go over there. And there were some others that were there that I just didn't recognize. Willie Mack was nice. That was short and sweet. Got a picture with him, paid for that. So we held up the House of Hardcore Championship. That was cool. And then Willie Mack didn't have much, like as far as like merch and stuff on the table from what I remember. So that was just real quick. Shook his hand. He was nice, which was cool. I love Willie Mack on TV. And I told him, I said, I love what you're doing on Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground. But he just, I don't know, he seemed like mentally distracted. Not saying he was mean to me. He just seemed like he had other stuff on his mind, you know? And that's whatever. So, but he was nice. He wasn't mean or nothing. He wasn't shitty. He was nice. And then right next to him, I went over and and I was like, hey, I'm also a fan of your competition there. Sammy Callahan was sitting at the next table. Racist Fan Rocks is in the chat. Yo, what's up? Good evening. Staying up late with J-Bone. Crack a cold one. Come on in. Relax. Sit down. We're talking some House of Hardcore and some other stuff. So I got to meet Sami Callihan, and as much as I've watched him over the course of this last year just be this absolute deranged, pissed off, crazy individual on every other brand I watch of wrestling on TV, Sami Callihan was like real. He just shook my hand. Message retracted. What are you doing? You're so goofy. I know it's late. I'm just messing with you. Type whatever. I don't care. I'm glad you're here. I told him, I said, what you guys are doing for Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground and growing the brand. I said, and now you're bringing your buddies, your family from Ohio in. And he got this proud look on his face when I told him that. I'm like, all the boys from Ohio coming into Impact Wrestling and help grow that brand. And he was so proud that I acknowledged that. And I wanted to let him know because it's real. It's what happened on the TV brand, and told him, I'm glad you re-signed and whatnot and finished wrestling class for the day. Oh, okay, cool. Wrestling class. Are you training to become a wrestler? That's interesting. So I met Sami, took the picture. You can see that in the social media as well. Go check that. And I got a Lucha Underground signed 8.5 or autograph of the Jeremiah Crane one. It doesn't say Sami Callihan, but it's him. The other one he had was from StarCast, but I thought this one looked cooler. Wrestling school, and yes, I'm training. Well, good luck, dude. Good luck. Let me know where you're. I don't have to know all your details. I'm just curious where you're training. That's pretty cool, man. So that's who I met. I was about to meet LAX. That was like one of the main ones I was definitely going to see was LAX from Impact Wrestling. And as soon as when I was talking to Sami Callihan, I think they walked like right behind me and headed towards the locker room. So I was like, oh man, I just missed them. And I saw them walking around a little bit later, but the school's name is Best in the West in Fresno. Fresno, is that? I'm really horrible at my geometry. Geography. It's a joke. Is that California? I think. Cali. Okay. Cool. Well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Good luck, man. I hope that works out for you. There's a nice hot little pocket of talent on the West Coast that I'm slowly learning about over the last couple of years. The stuff that's showing up on like the Hollywood championship wrestling from Hollywood. Ring Warriors is out of Vegas. So yeah, that's a hot little bit of talent out there. Good luck, dude. That's awesome. I don't know why I'm looking at my notebook. I don't have any notes in there. So I specifically went, okay, so I when I walked in, the first person I saw was Tommy, and he was kind of surrounded by people taking pictures, but he had a bag on his shoulder. So he looked like he was kind of like trying to get from point A to point B, whatever, like he was done taking pictures and on his way to the locker room. So I was just like, hey, good luck, Tommy. And I gave him a fist pound, and I didn't I didn't want to stop him because he looked like he just was like trying to get out of there. Not pissed, just like, okay, I'm done here. So I'm hoping I can meet him next time they come to town. I'll make more of an effort to hit his table first or whatever. Big Cass was there, and I don't know who else was doing autographs. There was someone sitting next to, and I felt bad because there were some people there that looked like they just weren't getting anybody. But there was someone sitting next to Willie Mack, and I kind of glanced over at him, and I was trying to like look at the pictures, like, okay, who are you, dude? But I didn't want to walk up to him and be like, who are you? I didn't want to sound like a dick, I just, so I stuck to the people I knew, got a couple pictures, and kept it simple for myself. When I went to go meet Willie and Sammy is right after something happened. When I walked in, okay, first of all, I shot footage of the entire event, but I just saved it for myself. I wasn't going to upload it. I could have, but I was like, when all right, so here's a little bit of the realness. When I walked in with my wife, we went right over to some of the Legends tables. Walked past Tommy, said hi. Al Snow was there. Man, is that dude jacked? Holy cow. That dude's like in like the best shape of his career. It's insane. Talked to X-Pac, met him. Almost went over by Warrior, but I was like, I don't know. I should have, but I didn't. Couple tables over, Cal Hero was there. Wanted to go say hi to him because that's the son of David Hero. He's 16. He was debuting that night. So he had a lot of people from his high school, a lot of friends, a lot of family, a lot of neighbors, a big local turnout just for Cal's debut. And granted, the rest of it was a lot of fun. But Cal's debut was definitely a highlight. There were so many people with Cal Hero t-shirts. They were selling his t-shirts. That was crazy. And I should have bought one because that kid is getting trained by guys like Al Snow, guys like I'm guessing Robbie E was training him. He had the match with him. But primarily, I think he was also getting trained from Silas Young from Ring of Honor, who is a big local guy. He's from Milwaukee. So this kid is getting trained by some good people. And he's also a good kid in general. Let me give you an example. Several years ago, when I used to live north of here with my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, Tracy, we were at a local Walmart, and I ran into David. This is back when he still had the TV show with Damian Nelson, the Pro Wrestling Report. And this was a show that was on late at night on the weekend, right before Ring of Honor. It's not on TV anymore, but it's the longest running wrestling news TV show ever. It was on the air like 20 years or 20 plus years. And a good chunk of it, I mean, Damian Nelson was all on there a lot. David Hero was on there probably for like a good chunk of it towards the end. But I ran into David several years ago. This is probably goes back like 6 years. Okay, just to put a time on it. This kid was with his dad, and I approached him, wanted to be polite, not like, hey, oh my God. I was like, cool about it. But I wanted to say hi, be like, hey, I'm a big fan. Shook his hand. Cal comes around me. Now think about this for a second. He's 10 years old at this time. And I'm a little starstruck. I'm just like, well, and David Hero's a big guy too. He's like towering over me. Cal comes around and he's like, would you like me to use your camera and take a picture of you two? And I'm like, wow, this kid, talk about nice. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much. Gave him my camera. Okay, hit this, and took a great picture. 10 years old. And this kid was debuting tonight. Not tonight, the night of the show. And I was like, wow, this kid is something else. So was so proud of him. I don't know him personally, but I feel like, like about people, so you feel like you know them, and seeing his dad so much on TV, so you feel like you know him a little. Was also contemplating having him on the podcast, maybe somewhere down the road. That'd be kind of cool. So, wait, was X-Pac's dog there? Yes. His dog, Lulu, was laying on a little bed on the floor behind the table. Absolutely adorable. His dog was sleeping. So I wasn't going to be like, oh, can you grab your dog? Can I pet your dog? No, I wasn't going to be like that. But Lulu was there, yeah. And the only reason why I thought Lulu was going to be there is because a day or two before, when he was in town and he was hanging out with, I believe, David and Cal, Lulu was him in some picture it was on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it was, whatever social media site. He was holding his dog. So I was like, oh, his dog's in town too. How nice. So yeah, I think he takes that dog everywhere. And X-Pac wasn't wrestling. He was just doing, he was just doing the signing. And then he had a bit like halfway through, just kind of a, hey, what's up, Blizzard Brawl? So happy to be here. I'll be over here signing autographs, whatever. Just a little bit. Got the crowd to do, the suck it, whatever. So, if you're not down with Blizzard Brawl and House of Hardcore, I got 2 words for you. Suck it. The whole crowd popped. It was cool. It was a moment, It was, man, it just made me like X-Pac even more. He's come so far, But back to Cal Hero. He had a great, you know what? I'll talk about the matches and then I'll get into the personal stuff. Because if you don't want to hear the personal stuff, then you can drop out of the video. I'm cool with that. If you don't want to hear the stuff, the personal stuff. So yeah, the event started out, and like I said, overall it was a lot of fun. The matches were fun. Just what happened to me that night just took away from the event. Okay, so please don't take it as I didn't have fun. I did have fun. It was great. I popped my House of Hardcore / Blizzard Brawl cherry. Okay, so like my friend said, so I don't know how you say it. I was like, so I'm popping my cherry tonight. He goes, oh my God, are you popping your cherry tonight? I was like, we'll get to that. So yeah, Eugene was there, wrestled a guy by the name of Richard Maxwell. Did not recognize this guy at all. I'm really out of the local wrestling scene. I know a handful of faces that are like super popular, like um the guys that are on Ring of Honor that are from Milwaukee, like uh, Silas Young, the oh god, I'm completely drawing a blank. The guy that comes out with Silas Young, he's from Milwaukee too. He's been wrestling in Milwaukee for at least 10 plus years. Um, definitely 10 plus years. The cigar comes out with the beer keg. Damn it. Why am I? The Bruiser? Is that it? No. Beer City Bruiser. Thank you. Oh my God. Don't grow old, kids. Growing old sucks. You forget shit all the time and then you drink because you forget shit. It's my line. That's my shtick. But yeah. So I didn't recognize this Richard Maxwell guy, but Eugene was there and he wasn't like full, he, oh, I'm going to get in trouble for that too. But no, it's, his gimmick. He's, he's, it's so not PC. Like it was fun back then, and there's so many people nowadays. You can't do that. Shut the hell up. It's like, come on. I'm not going to walk down the street and make fun of people like that. This guy has a gimmick, okay? Whatever. Anyways, it's Eugene. It was fun. It was like, yay, Eugene. Eugene won, of course. Swoggle, of course, was in a match with two guys that were like, okay, Swoggle's just a fun attraction, especially locally because he is from Wisconsin. But damn, there was a kid in there that should have won the match that was so good. He was basically like a young version of Kofi Kingston. This guy was amazing. And that was TV3, I believe. They said he was from Green Bay. Man, I want to see more of this kid. There was also Bulletproof McCoy. Now, I felt like I should have recognized him, but I didn't. I know there's McCoys that wrestle locally. But like I said, I'm so out of touch from the wrestling scene. I didn't recognize him. I know there were like McCoys that were, they used to like wear the green and have like red hair and were like blatantly like Irish, not like, they were like proud of their Irish heritage and they showed it off. But this guy didn't look like any of the McCoys that I was familiar with. So I think there's brothers. But yeah, like I said, it's been so long and I'm so out of touch with the local scene. And I really should go see more local stuff, but I just don't. Maybe 2019, I'll try to change that. Go to a few more local gigs. But, it was a solid match. But TV3 would really impress me. And, of course, Swoggle does the whole, suplex, bite your ass. And he, like, rolled up one of the guys for a pin. I don't remember. But he won. So it was like, okay, yay, Swoggle. And Swoggle got the crowd going. Swoggle. It's like, okay. Then something very interesting happened. We had a match between MVP and Big Cass. And Cass, I was excited to see Cass because I was a big fan of his from WWE. Okay. This is going to sound like I'm hating on the guy. It almost didn't look like him. He lost a lot of muscle mass. Okay. Like he like stopped working out. That's what he looked like. I saw pictures online of him and I was like, oh wow, he's really not taking care of himself after leaving the WWE. But I know that sometimes when people share pictures like that, they Photoshop them, they change them. No, it's legit. He looks like he wrestled with his t-shirt on because I think he saw the pictures that came out of him from a couple weeks ago. But this was his debut in House of Hardcore. Okay. So I felt it was kind of a big thing because House of Hardcore is, I feel like it's one of the top independent brands, you know, even though Tommy doesn't put the live shows on anymore on his Twitch channel, unfortunately. Don't get me started on that. I'm still upset about it. I'm not like pissed. It's just kind of like, oh man, you know, bummed. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's gonna go over. No. MVP beat Big Cass. But what was honestly more memorable was what Big Cass said before. And I don't know if he's said this before other places or in interviews. I don't know. But he said in front of the crowd that he and Enzo are going to show up someplace real soon. So I don't know if that means that he and Enzo are going to like show up at Homecoming or show up like in Ring of Honor. I don't know, but he made a big point that he and Enzo are going to be together someplace. Now, I mean, he could be completely full of shit. I don't know. But he made it sound like something's really happening. I've got some footage of it, but I didn't get all of it. So yeah, it was interesting. I'll call that a bit of a Smash This Podcast exclusive, even though it probably got said somewhere else already. But but the match was pretty good. MVP was, you know, as much as some people may boo MVP, he was quite the baby face. Because he gets brought into town a lot from David for these events, the bigger events. And he was cheered. And Big Cass was quite the heel for this event. So it was kind of weird. He got off of the skies. Yeah, that was funny. He didn't talk about that, but he just said that he and Enzo are probably going to show up on TV somewhere real soon or someplace real soon. So I don't know. Well, the next night I know they were in Philly or New York or something, so I don't know. I didn't hear anything. If the Big Cass was supposed to be on that show, I don't know if Enzo showed up. I didn't hear anything. But maybe 2019, you know, so I'm thinking if they're going to do something big soon, maybe Ring of Honor? I know Enzo still has a bit of a bad reputation. He shouldn't, though. Because, I mean, his attitude is his attitude. That's his real life shtick. And that's just him defending himself. But as far as what he was accused of, he's innocent. So people shouldn't be hating on him for that. And I backed him for that. Totally, 100%. Because that little hoe got him fired. He would still be in the WWE right now. I know he would be. Places. Can that be his new gimmick? That's some funny shit. Oh, that'd be great. All right, so that was interesting. You know, Cass's promo he cut, but man, did he get booed because he just walked around the whole time, just mean mugging the people and. Some people thought he was drunk. I think he was just being, cocky and smug or whatever. I don't know. I was way back in the bleachers, so it was hard for me to tell, but whatever. Al Snow, and then they had Al Snow and Cal Hero come out against Robbie E. and Jay Bradley. Jay Bradley's another guy that's wrestled a lot around here. He's from Chi-Town. And Jay Bradley's been all over the place. He's wrestled for William Corgan, or Billy Corgan, in when he used to own that company in Chicago. Of course, now he owns the NWA. He brought in Jay Bradley when he was kind of running TNA a couple years ago. He also had a stint in WWE several years ago. So Bradley's been kind of all over the place. So he's a good wrestler. He just never got a proper push anywhere to really shine, in my opinion. But he's good. So he was there with Robbie E. Robbie E's been brought into town a lot. He's I believe he's a former Great Lakes Championship champion. So the local crowd knows him a lot. And of course, everybody loves Al Snow. Al Snow is hilarious live. When he still brings his head. What do you want? Head. What does everybody want? Head. The pops are just ridiculous. And how the first 5 minutes of the match is the ref trying to get him to put head away and start the match is just hilarious. He'll put him down and then he'll bring him back out and start, shoving it in everybody's face. It's hilarious. And Cal Hero's just kind of letting him do his thing, You can tell Cal was a little nervous, and gosh, you can't blame him. This is his first match. And Cal Hero really had a great first match. He got the pin on, I apologize, I don't remember who he pinned. But the psychology and how the match played out, how Al Snow was down for a while, and then they kind of roughed up Cal Hero, and then there was a big comeback. And the stuff that Cal Hero did, and so it's it was a highly choreographed, you could tell it was a highly choreographed match. But it worked out where a story was told in the ring. And that's one thing that all these guys, including Cal, you could tell were very good at, and that Cal did a great job. I mean, he really did. As a kid in his first match, he was surrounded by pros. So you could say, oh yeah, they protected him. Of course they did. But he really shined, and he showed off what he knew, and what he did well. So I want to compliment everyone involved in Cal Hero's training, because he had a hell of a first match. And as much as I may not be a fan of the WWE right now, it's his goal to someday go to the WWE. And you can't, like I said, and I've said that on here before, as much as some of my favorites in the independent scene, as much as I don't want them to go to the WWE, you cannot knock them for that being their goal. No matter what happens in the company, if that's their goal, that's their goal. And us as fans, we can either support it or not. I just, hey, if that's your goal, go do it. You know, I'm not going to sit there and boo someone and be a shitty fan and be like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You can't go there. They're not going to treat you properly. Then what kind of fan are you? I could say that about so many people that I've seen go over to the WWE over the course of the last couple of years. Adam Cole and his boys, Ricochet, the guys from Insanity, the new women, you know, the list goes on and on. Thirsty. It's late. I don't care. Oh. Can you just imagine if I watched Raw? I'd be like drunk off my ass and be frustrated. I'd rather do this. So then there was the Tommy Dreamer, it was called the last hardcore war between Tommy Dreamer and Abyss. They had a hell of a match, and Abyss won. Little surprising there. Kind of thought Tommy, I mean, you can't have all the good guys win, I guess. But Abyss won. He beat Tommy Dreamer, but then they broke kayfabe, and Abyss talked about how much of an inspiration. And I wish I got this on video for myself, but I didn't. I was just kind of watching it, just being there in the moment. Abyss put over Tommy, said how much of an inspiration he is and how much he's taught him in the industry, probably more than anyone else. And it was similar to what he said about Jim Mitchell and others at his Hall of Fame speech. It ranked right up there with that as far as thanking him for, because this is the last time they were supposed to be in the ring together. And I mean, this is wrestling, so I guess you never say never. But I've got a feeling both of their times in the ring are very limited as far as the clock is ticking. Tommy's been saying that for a while now. And the way Tommy looked after this match, oh my God. Abyss looked pretty good. But Tommy also landed on a pile of tacks. But Tommy then also took the mic, put over Abyss, and it was an emotional moment. It was both of them thanking each other. You know, it was real. It was real. It was no BS. It was cool. It was a moment. And I'm glad it happened in, my hometown. I'm glad I could have been there for that. And Tommy sincerely said, I love you, man. And I hope to God I never have to face you in the ring again. Or she said something like that. It was, it kind of put a little ha-ha at the end of, a very emotional moment. They embraced each other and then called it a night. And then they had the intermission. And then they had two tremendous, wait, let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay. And then they had a couple surprises. Nothing like tremendous, but it was cool because I'm guessing some people didn't know who they were, but I did. When they came back, I knew LAX was coming up, and I knew the main event was that, because I wasn't sure what the main event was going to be. The main event was Willie Mack defending his House of Hardcore Twitch TV championship against Sami Callihan in a Wisconsin street fight or whatever it was. But the tag team match was LAX versus Clayton Gaines and Jimmy Jacobs. Jimmy Jacobs and Clayton Gaines were not advertised for the show. If you know Midwest Wrestling and you heard news about, Ring of Honor's Zombie Princess going to WWE and then getting fired and then going back to the independent scene. He's also been on Impact Wrestling. Not lately, but he is a guy in the locker room, I think, still, as far as I know. So it was nice to see Jimmy Jacobs. Clayton Gaines, though, if you don't know who that is, he is another guy from Ohio that has been in a lot of House of Hardcore shows lately, more out east than anything. But he's from Ohio. He's one of, I suppose he's from that same group of guys that Sami Callihan has been trying to push, promote, help bring out of the Ohio scene for the rest of the world to see, like the Rascals on Impact, similar. Clayton Gaines was the guy, if you watched Impact Wrestling, he was the fake Brian Cage from a few weeks ago. That was when they showed up in Ohio and had that beatdown of Brian Cage. He was that guy, okay? If you're not familiar with him. But it was a great tag team match. And I was so happy to see LAX live. I wish I would have met him. I hope Tommy brings him back next year because I definitely want to shake these guys' hands. They are one of the top tag teams right now. They're in the news a lot lately. I talked about them recently on my podcast. You could see that video. If you scroll down, you'll oops, that one's almost empty. Excuse me. Foam. It's the end of that one. That's better. He's so unprofessional. He drinks beer and burps and farts. Shut up. If you're on here and you're watching me, you love me for me. Okay? Period. End of subject. I'm not PC. But tremendous match. LAX did some great stuff. You know how good they are if you watch Impact Wrestling, and it was great seeing them in person live against guys that I'd never seen them wrestle before. So that was kind of a treat. Clayton Gaines just kind of did the I'm a muscle guy on the apron, and he kept drinking his, I don't know what the hell he was drinking. He had a bottle in his, what do they call that? Bag that all the wrestlers, oh my God, the brain farts are bad tonight. Anyways, he kept drinking this drink. So I don't know if it was his, it could have been water for all I know. I couldn't tell. But, he brings his protein drink to the ring or something because he's a big muscular guy. But Zombie Princess is always fun to watch. She's very, if you've seen Jimmy Jacobs, you know the gimmick. He does it well, and he's great. But LAX got the win. That was very cool. And then there was the main event, the House of Hardcore Twitch TV Championship on the line. Willie Mack defending against Sami Callihan. And they had a great hardcore battle. And it wasn't like, because there was a lot of kids there. And I know that David Hero prides himself in putting on a good family entertainment show. So when Tommy brings his stuff to the Milwaukee area, it's not like a Philly crowd, and I think he how do I say this? You will rarely see blood at these events, okay? Once in a while, you'll see a little blood. But you very rarely will see some like ridiculous, light tube guys bleeding out all over the freaking place. You won't see that, okay? Because there is a certain level of family entertainment that David has brought to the area for years. Tommy has taken it over, and I think he respects the Milwaukee crowd as it's a little more, dare I say, a bit more of a conservative crowd as opposed to an East Coast hardcore crowd. Okay, there's still some loud people in the crowd and they get rowdy or whatever, but you're not going to see a big bloody crazy event. Okay, I imagine some of the kids left that intermission with their parents because it was getting a little late, or that gives parents the chance to leave before you see maybe a little more intense wrestling. But even the match between Tommy and Abyss was not that hardcore. I mean, yeah, there was some stuff thrown at each other, but it was nothing outlandish like, oh my God, he just cut his face open and blood everywhere. No, you didn't see that. So, but it was still a good match. You respect the match. You respect the people. I don't think anybody went in there like, oh God, I wanted this and I didn't get it. I didn't see anybody pissed off or getting shitty about it. I think everybody had a genuine good time. Okay. Willie Mack beat Sami Callihan, but I didn't want to go into this like assuming anything. It's a House of Hardcore show. You don't know. There's a championship on the line. I'm not sure if there's a Great Lakes Championship champion still around. I know there was one years ago, or not that long ago, but there was not one defended at the show. I think El Snow used to be champ. I'm not sure. That one's a little fuzzy. I used to follow it, but I've never. This is the first event like that I've been to. So, but this, I mean, it's House of Hardcore now. So it's the Twitch House of Hardcore Twitch TV Championship. But Willie Mack won. He beat Sami Callihan, but I knew these two were going to put on a great match. Then they did. It was a lot of fun. Willie Mack won, and I didn't stick around to see if there was any aftermath or anything. I didn't hear about anything. I didn't look up anything really, other than just the results here in front of me. Just to remind myself of just making sure I didn't miss any of the matches to talk about. So overall, match-wise, event-wise, people I met at the show-wise was a lot of fun. If you're a fan of the House of Hardcore brand and you want to go see Tommy Dreamer's brand new podcast, you can look that up on YouTube. The extra link I did put in the description of the video is if you want to see pictures of the show, I have a link there in the description, and you can see, pictures of the event, of all the matches that I talked about. You'll see Eugene, you'll see Cal Hero, you'll see Al Snow, LAX, Willie Mack, all the guys, all in the pictures. And it's cool. It's action shots ringside. So they're okay pictures. But I'd put that in there in case you wanted to look at it. So now I guess I'll talk about the part of the show that kind of distracted me from the rest of the evening, and really just kind of, so if you want to drop out for this part, I completely understand. This is more just me personally of what happened to me at the show. This is that part of the video. So overall, the event was great. I want to thank Tommy for putting it, Tommy and David. I mean, David will give Tommy credit for putting on the show, but I still think it's a collaboration, a local collaboration. Tommy comes into town. It's now the House of Hardcore comes once a year to what is formerly Great Lakes Championship Wrestling Blizzard Brawl. And, so there's some local talent, and Tommy brings in a good chunk of his guys as well, including his champion. So it's overall a great collaboration, just a great package of wrestling, including the legends brought in for autograph sessions. I met X-Pac for the first time and connected with him, and he was, like I said, he was so nice. But he's one of those guys that, when you're looking at people and you're getting autographs, and you can tell if they're legit or not. X-Pac is one of those guys where he's been through so much, and I've watched him on his podcast, I don't know how many times over the course of the last couple of years. He's about as real as it gets. He wears his emotions on his sleeve when he's talking about stuff, and he'll get emotional. He's real. I feel he is. I'm sure there's other people that don't like him, and whatever, that's fine. If he's not your cup of tea, he's not your cup of tea. But that was certainly one of the highlights of that event, was meeting, just clicking out of that, was meeting X-Pac. And of course, meeting Willie and Sammy were great too. Hopefully next time I can meet a few more people, or just others in general. So, okay. Now we get into the drama. I got there, bought tickets at the door, my wife and I did not realize who I was buying tickets from. This is not part of the drama. It's one of Tommy's girls that is part of House of Hardcore. But she was at the box office selling tickets, and I didn't recognize her. And I felt kind of bad. And I saw her on social media later, and I'm like, oh my God, I got tickets from her. And that's, I can't think of her name. G Data? Can't think of her name. She's one of the Double D Duprees. Excuse me. Double D Duprees. I just say, well, she's one of Tommy's girls. So that was kind of cool. It's like, I didn't know. Next time I'll look for her. But they showed up later during the event, which was cool. I didn't talk about that part of the show, but whatever. So I got there, walked in, got stamped, I paid to get in, got stamped. I didn't get an official ticket, so I was kind of bummed I didn't get a ticket, but whatever, it's not a big deal. Walked in, kind of looked around, just kind of took it all in, like, oh, there's that, and there's that, and there's all these guys. And my wife's like, well, where do you want to go first? And I'm like, let's go over here by the legends. And I walked past El Snow, said hi to Tommy Dreamer, gave him a fist pound. Walked past Animal, and I kind of got in line right away for X-Pac because I was like, oh, I want to be X-Pac. And I already talked about my experience with him, got my picture taken with him. If you want to see the pictures, you can go on my Twitter account. I shared my pictures a couple nights ago. You can go on my social media there and go check them out. Definitely a highlight I will never forget. X-Pac was great. After I met X-Pac, we started walking around, and it was getting not super close to showtime, but it was getting close to showtime. It was about a half an hour to 20 minutes away. So I'm like, okay, let's find a seat, and then because I didn't see any of the other tables as far as the lesser, well, I shouldn't say lesser known guys, but like the non-legends section of tables, like, you know, where MVP, Willie Mack, LAX, Sammy Callahan, all those guys were like in a row on the other side. Excuse me. Damn. Pardon me. So we're walking around, you know, the seated area. We're walking around by the bleachers. And out of the corner of my eye, I see someone from my past. Here's where it gets interesting. I see my buddy. Fuck it. I see Mark. I see Mark out of the corner of my eye. And I was just going to keep walking because I'm like, for a split second, I remembered everything that happened X amount of years ago. And I had to remind myself later the next day how long it's been since I've seen him. I have not seen him since I had not seen him like the entire time that I was with my wife, Tracy. And I've been with her 8+ years now. So I haven't seen him in 8 years, which is, considering everything I've been through the last 8 years after I left Walmart, 3 back surgeries, different jobs, completely starting a whole new lifestyle with dealing with COPD and a fused back and all this shit that I've been through. Podcasting on here for 5 years. And my last experience with him was because of something that went on in my divorce 10+ years ago. He used to be a brother of mine, okay? He was family. He was very, he and I were very close. And I just say family as in he was one of my best friends. He wasn't like blood family. But a lot of times, blood family doesn't mean shit, and your friends are more family than anything. That's how it was with him. He is one of my son's godfathers, okay? Because what happened before then, and I'm not going to get into that on here because I'll just be a complete mess. My ex and I went through a lot of shit, a lot of real life shit. And we needed friends like the friends that we had to get through it. And we, so we leaned on those people to get through it. That's how close I was with this guy. We were brothers. But then she and I got divorced. Not going to get into that. And he was upset with me. Basically we'll just say he took her side in the divorce. Okay. We were both guilty of things. Okay. There was no oh, he did this or she did that. No, we both were shit against each other. Okay. We both did things, period. End of subject. But she was very influential on many of my best friends and turned turned pretty much everyone against me. Okay. So I had almost no one as far as friends left, which was par for the course because I knew that was going to happen because I already knew how she was. So I found out real quick within a couple of years of my divorce who my true friends were. And many fell by the wayside, including him. So my last conversation, without going into too much details, ended in him saying to me, you did this, you did that. How could you do this? And if you reply to this, I will get a restraining order on you. And I was like, whatever, dude. This was like all on Messenger. And I was like, whatever, dude. Have a good life. So that was 8+ years ago. Okay. So all this shit is going through my head in a matter of like 2 seconds in seeing him out of the corner of my eye at this event. So I saw him, ignored him. A second later, he calls me over. He's like, hey, Jason. And I'm like, there's one of those things, you know, you go through all this shit in your head in a matter of a millisecond. You're like, do I keep going and ignore him or do I act in kind? And I hate drama, okay? First and foremost, avoid it like the freaking plague. So he calls me over and I respond in kind. I was like, hey, dude. And I shook his hand. Mind you, he's had a few drinks. I'm not going to say he was drunk off his ass or being like, or he was just like sloshed, but he's had a couple, okay? I can tell. And I leaned in and I gave him a big hug. And he gives me a kiss on the side of my head. And I was like, wow. It just really shocked me, okay? And I was like, is this really going on? Is this real? Is this legit how he's gonna treat me tonight? So I talked to him for a couple of seconds. Hey, how you doing? Catching up. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go sit down, get ready for the show. Kind of quickly got out of the situation. Just because I was kind of just like, oh my God, this is happening tonight. It just really took me out of everything. Like I'm here to have fun, and now all this shit's going on in my head, and it really fucked me up. So I go over to like the next section of bleachers because I had a section at the top where I had, you know, I'm like, hey, I can sit there, get some great footage. I can sit way at the top. It'll be fine. Well, that spot was taken. In fact, most of that section of bleachers was taken while I was talking to Mark. And I was like, so I walked over there and just kind of like looking around like, all right, now where the hell am I going to sit down? So I end up going over to the back, the same end of bleachers, the same section of bleachers, excuse me, that he was sitting in, but I sat at the opposite end with Tracy. So I went up a handful of rows, like the middle from the bottom to the top, because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like 6 rows. It's not like super tall bleachers. So I go like halfway up, and I'm just kind of sitting there like, And I'm kind of whispering to Tracy. She's like, who is that? And I'm kind of whispering to her, like, who it was. And she's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see him get up and he's coming over to me now. And I'm like, oh, Jiminy Christmas, really? This is happening? And he sits right in front of me. And so the rest of the evening, he's all chummy. He's buying me drinks. Oh my God, was he buying me drinks? So, by the way, Mountain Dew and brandy is really fucking good. And the one he bought me, I couldn't taste the Mountain Dew. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to go with it. I'm not going to be like, hey, by the way, the last time you and I were together, or the last time we connected on social media, this happened. Do you remember? I wasn't going to, like I said, I hate confrontation. I wasn't going to do that. So we went on the rest of the evening just catching up, and it was really cool. And it was fun. And it reminded me of the fun that we had together in the past. Because I'd go over to his house all the time and we'd watch Raw, have a couple drinks, and whatever. You know, but I kept expressing to Tracy throughout the course of the evening, I'm like, this is really messing with me. I'm like, do I treat this like, hey, we're bros again? Or do I treat this as a, this was fun, I'm not going to pursue this? I don't know. This is like, like I said, this is something that's, ever since that night, this is messing with my head. And I hate it. I hate shit like that because this should have been like one of the highlights of the year for me. And this happened, and you know, and I wasn't even going to come on here and talk about it, but I'm like, no, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real about it. Because I'm not going to be like, oh my God, it was great. And this happened, and I had the time of my life. No. The event was great. I loved being at, like, I popped my Blizzard Brawl House of Hardcore cherry. Okay. And I was, and I met some great people. I met Sammy Callahan. I met Willie Mack. I met X-Pac and felt like I really connected with him. I'm not, oh my God, he's my best friend. No, I'm not saying like that. But it was a cool experience. But then in the background of all this, oh my God, great matches, Cal Hero's debut, then all this like bullshit from my past is back here just flicking me in the fucking ear. And, and I'm like, well, do I talk about it? Yeah, fuck it. I'm talking about it. And I don't usually talk about personal stuff on here, but I'm like, you know what? This is bugging the hell out of me. I'm going to crack a couple beers when I get off of work tonight because I was going to do it last night. And I'm like, no, I need to like just sit on this for a night. I'll do it Monday. So I'm on here. It's late. I don't care. Cracking a couple cold ones. And I'm just kind of, for lack of better words, blowing off some steam. So that's why I saved all this stuff towards the end, because I wanted to talk about the event first and how much fun I had meeting the people, seeing the matches, talking about the results, save the drama for the end. So if you don't want to stick around for the drama, I get it. That's fine. But it's just me being real about personal shit, which I don't, like I said, I don't do much on here. I usually keep my life out of stuff. I don't talk about my personal stuff much. So you know, and then some other stuff was discussed, and I'm not going to get into it, but it made me feel like he and I connected for a reason, and I haven't seen him in 8 years. And I feel like something, like I ran into him for a reason. Like I said, he's my son's godfather. And he and I used to be really super freaking close. And I'm not going to go into details, but let's just say I'm worried about him. So part of me is like, you showed up at this event and you ran into him for a reason, and you need to be in his life again. But I'm not going to be the kind of person to be like, oh my God, we're best friends again. I'm not going to lie. I'm cautiously walking into this now. Because I deal with enough bullshit in my life, between my aches and pains, which is a daily thing, dealing with my COPD, helping take care of my wife, helping take care of my father, trying to stick it out at my new job, make sure that's going well, all this stuff. I don't need extra bullshit on my plate. So I'm very cautious as to what I do outside of my little personal bubble. So like he left pretty much before the last, like right at the beginning of the last match. Like he left early. And so I could kind of focus on the last match, but it was really, I'm not going to lie, it was really hard too. Because I'm just looking at Tracy like, oh my God, I can't believe this just happened. I can't believe I ran into him. So this, like I said, this really messed with me. And so that's why I'm talking about it. And so now, like I said, I'm stewing in my head. What is next? And that's something I have to, like, I'm not going to be like, okay, well, part 2 is coming on here. No, I'm not I'm not that dramatic of a person on here. No. But I wanted to talk about the night. I wanted to talk about the personal experience. I wanted to talk about what happened to me. I wanted to talk about why I'm doing this review and why it is the way it is. I'm not going to be fake about it. I'm not going to be like I said, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, this is like, the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Sorry, all these notifications. Should have silenced my phone. I apologize. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the evening. We left. I talked about this with my wife in great detail, expressing my feelings. I wanted to come on here and talk about it. So whoever watches like the whole thing up to this point, God bless you. That's, that was not the point of all this, but I wanted to save a majority of the personal stuff towards the end. So if you're coming into this late, like I could tell some of you are, you're like, well, what the hell is this? The review for a majority of this is in the beginning of the video, and I saved personal things that happened to me at this event towards the end. Okay, in a nutshell. While I sit here and have a few cold ones, and I'm just kind of blowing off steam, just kind of expressing my personal feelings of the evening. But, you know, overall, drama aside, personal things aside, Tommy put on a hell of a show, period. End of subject. It made me respect him as a performer, as a booker in general. He's, you know, if you've watched Tommy's shows, they're special. I know different shows he puts on in different places. Like, okay, when he's in Philly, the crowd is just, it's a Philly crowd. They don't hold anything back. And they are rude and they are obnoxious, and God bless them for that. Whatever. It's a Philly crowd. You're not going to get the same kind of show. Excuse me. You're not going to get the same kind of show around here. Okay. You know, the Milwaukee, the greater Milwaukee area is a very good wrestling crowd. But they're certainly more conservative in a lot of ways than other parts of the country. But they're still very passionate wrestling fans. And I hadn't been to a smaller event like this in a long time. The last time I went to one was the last show at the Bradley Center when WWE came to town. And it was, oh man, it was snowing. It was March. It was pre-Mania. Excuse me. And I hadn't been to a smaller event since like 6+ years ago. To put a timeline on it, it was right before the club came to WWE, Gallows and Anderson, which is also the same time at the same show I met Matt Hardy, and that was right before he got super cleaned up and did the broken gimmick, to put a timeline on things as far as I went the last time I went to like a local show. But that was Brew City Wrestling. This was different. This was David's show. It's also very interesting how there's like bad blood between local shows. Mark and I discussed that a little bit. That was very interesting. Not going to get into that on here, but just, it's like you'd think there would be, I understand a level of competition. I get that. But bad blood, that's interesting. Highlight of the evening, though, watching Cal Hero debut. Honestly. It was great to see some of my favorites. LAX kicked ass. Willie beat Sami Callihan. There was a tremendous moment between Abyss and Tommy Dreamer after the hardcore war. But it was a great night. Drama aside, great night. I'm so glad I went. And it literally was a last-minute decision. I was looking into buying tickets less than 24 hours before the show. Pretty much day of, I decided. Because at one point I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go. And then I wasn't going to go. And then my wife was like, you're going. And I'm like, well, do you want to go with me or not? I mean, because her and I don't get out much and do stuff, but I was like, you need to go. You may not know a lot of these guys, but you know the guys. I talk about them enough that you should know who they are. And she had fun. So yeah, good event. Little drama involved. I'm still in the I'm still I'm still in the process of processing it. Still don't know what to do with it. We'll see. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, though. I've already thought about it too much. I don't know what that is. I was just looking at a notification. I'm sorry. So yeah, it's late. It's holy crap. It's like 2:30. It's way past my bedtime. Kidding. So, if you're watching this late into it, thank you for sticking around. I'll put this up on wrestlingwithwrestling.com proudly because I haven't put House of Hardcore stuff up on wrestlingwithwrestling.com in a long time because Tommy Dreamer does not put his shows up on Twitch hardly anymore. He does a weekly podcast on there. At least I think he still does. I like binge watch a couple of them at a time when I think to do it. I used to do it on a regular basis, and then sometimes I miss it, and I go back and I watch a couple. But he doesn't keep stuff on his channel on for a very long time. It's on for like a couple of weeks, and then it's gone. But now he's got a YouTube channel. So I don't know if he's going away from the Twitch thing. I don't know. Like I said, I always wish that the last Blizzard Brawl, say that 10 times really fast. The last Blizzard Brawl was on Twitch. It was his debut on Twitch, and I watched it last year. And that was like really cool. This one will probably never see Twitch. He'll probably sell the DVDs. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what he does now. He turns them into DVDs and he sells them. Which I might buy this one just because I was at this one. So it's kind of a, nice to keep that memory from it. But we'll see. So yeah, we'll wrap it up here, I think. It's time to end it. He's 2 beers in and he's rambled on long enough. So yeah, we'll call it here. Tomorrow I don't know if it's going to be during the day or in the evening. Either or. Not sure yet. We'll see how the day goes. We'll review Ring Warriors. We'll catch up on that. And I don't know what we're going to do Wednesday because there's no more Lucha Underground. Maybe I'll do something random and go live and watch something and talk about it live and do a live review / discussion on wrestling. Something weird. I don't know. We'll see. No clue. Would like to do something different on Wednesdays. We'll see. That's still I get these ideas in my head ooh, let's do this new thing or let's do that new thing. And then I never do it. So it's That's the ADD side of me. It is what it is. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around through the drama. And yeah, we'll see you soon. We'll see you tomorrow for Ring Warriors. Don't know when I'm going to do it, but I'll do it sometime in the timeline of Tuesday. Okay. So have a good night or good morning for wherever you are watching or whenever you are watching this. This will be up for the replay up on wrestlingwithwrestling.com. I'll probably just do it tomorrow just to make it easier on myself so I can go to bed and finish my last couple sips of beer. So thanks for watching. God bless. Love you guys. Yeah, that's it. This was me being real tonight. I'm not like this much on here, but I wanted to get it off my chest, and I figured, what the hell, why not? J-Bone's going live. We'll talk about a little bit of House of Hardcore, and we'll also talk about the drama of the evening. So if you stuck around long enough for that, God bless you. And if you came in late and you missed the review, watch it later or whatever. So, all right. Take care, folks. Much love. We'll see you soon.